Make sure this sounds...
Hello, Mrs. Play.
Greetings.
Welcome home.
Thanks, man. It's really nice to be here.
Yeah. Back on the podcast set, we are back doing our fantastic PAXCast. We're back from PAX East, which was last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for us.
Yes.
Welcome everyone to the Wrong Button Podcast, show where we talk all things nerd, most things video games, and generally anything that tickles our fancy. And today, Mrs. Play, we're going to talk some PAX East because
about PAX.
you and I had a fun time.
We did.
We learned some things about ourselves.
Yeah.
We learned some things about public transportation.
Yo.
And we it was a fantastic experience all the way around. For those of you guys, we go to, PAX East has kind of become like one of my things, and I bribed Mrs. Play. I was like, hey, food. And she wants to say less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, but what kind of food? And you're like, food in Chinatown. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yep.
That's what happened. It's like, you got me.
Yeah,
like, you had my interest, and now you have my attention. Go on.
So we actually left out Wednesday because when I was in high school, the big thing to do was take the PAX train, mainly because we were poor, and plane tickets are expensive, and unaccompanied minors are a thing. So I was like, hey, let's take the train up because we live 5-10 minutes away from a train station. So we were like, we'll take the Amtrak from like DC all the way to Boston. And it'll be about the same amount of time all the way around as if we flew.
Yeah, if you were to calculate in driving to the airport, going through security, and like plus the flight, like getting there early, plus the flight itself, getting out, getting your bag, like whether or not it was carry on, finding an Uber, going to the hotel. It was allegedly roughly the same. It was not roughly the same.
It was not roughly the same. So we took
not at all.
We took the ride up on the PAX train, which was cool to start seeing. When we went to PAX Unplugged late last year as well, when we went with our friends Kat and Eli, we also took the train up to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Train to Philly, much different than the train to Boston, Mass.
Yeah, it was like 35% the distance at the time of time.
It was like 4 hours, which is roughly the drive to Philly from where we are in DC with traffic.
Right.
But no parking.
Or gas or traffic.
So we learned about ourselves that 1, we should sit in a quiet car.
Yep.
And 2, we'll just take a plane next time.
It was so much ambient noise, and like listening to people around you having like their business professional trademark voices all around you. I'm like, there's nowhere for me to escape. Like, I'm on a vacation. I don't want to hear business going on all around me.
Is this distracting to you?
It wasn't just, it was aggravating.
Yeah.
It wasn't distracting. I'm like, we're supposed to be on vacation. And everyone's just like, oh, yes, business.
We love business.
Yeah. And then New York is about the halfway point in terms of like miles.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's in terms of time. It's about the halfway point. But like you still have like so many stops between New York and like there are more stops. Like the number of times we stopped in fucking Connecticut. All of you, like it's a small state. Meet New Haven. We stop once. Like we could just.
By the way, Rhode Island, you're now part of Connecticut. 49 states.
Oh my goodness! Like we stop in Providence and nowhere else. Like the city limits of Detroit is bigger than your entire state. Meet in Providence. I have strong feelings. I didn't realize I would have feelings until like it was a lived experience, and now I have thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, so
hashtag size does matter.
So we did.
I found my spice.
You did find your spice. So we ended up getting to fantastic Boston. Got off the train.
It was cold.
It was very cold. I got to Boston.
Like, we're from Virginia, so like it was cold.
Yeah, yeah. It was checking like the DC area weather, and it was like 50 something degrees. Looking at Boston, 34 degrees, high of 37.
Yeah, for the entire time. So I was like, it's cold. It was really lovely to get off the train. It wasn't that difficult to get out of the train station.
Stayed at the we stayed at the Moxie. Luckily
near Chinatown.
Yeah, near Chinatown. So I stayed at the Courtyard last year. I think I'd stay back there again if I couldn't try to get the Aloft, but I just like. So for those of you guys who don't know, we stayed about a mile away from the convention center itself. Of course, if you go to cons, you have like the con hotel where like all the people going to the con are, and then there are all those closer ones. The food in that area is
business.
Okay.
Yeah.
But expensive. If you go a mile west, you hit Chinatown. Chinatown is less expensive. It's Boston, it's still expensive.
Yeah.
But delicious.
So fucking good.
So yeah, we got to Boston. We checked in the hotel, and then we ended up. I always do my ritual of like, hey, we're gonna walk the con route. That way we know.
Make sure the convention center's still there.
Make sure it's still there. Make sure I still remember how to get there.
Move it.
Yeah, you never know. It's a weird thing. Yeah, so we went to the convention. We went to the convention center, walked back, and then I was like, all right, Mrs. Play.
It was raining that evening as well.
Oh, it was drizzling. Yeah,
it was drizzling.
It was
drizzling.
And
I didn't bring a hat. Shame on me. But I was warm enough. I had a scarf. I had a jacket. You had a hoodie. He refuses to wear like waterproof anything. You guys, like, help me get Mr. Play to wear an actual coat. Like, I'm not dissing the hoodie from a functionality standpoint, except for the fact that it's cotton and it was raining outside. And you're like, I'm fine. Your hoodie was like, it was wet. It wasn't damp. It was wet.
It was a little wet.
It was wet.
But we did walk over to our first tasty thing for the night, which was a vegan Thai place.
Which if you hadn't have hyped it up so long for a year, the thought of like vegan Thai sounds very to me.
And
it was up a suspicious stairwell. And I'm like, this is where the girl this is like the stairwell from like a Saw movie.
Yep, that's
I'm not.
Yeah, Saw, The Purge,
like,
something's happening here.
It didn't have like the bathroom tile to easily wash away blood, but I'm like, this is a stairwell to Saw. I'm like, like you went through like the sketchy looking door and up the stairwell with these like creaky ass stairs that are that's just, you can't convince me that's code. That is up to code. You cannot convince me.
I mean, it's Boston. It's probably up to their code.
But the food was excellent. It was very quiet. We sat near the window and got to people watch. There were plants.
There were a lot of plants. Saw the guy get like run down by the police. It was very warm in there. It was like all the cozy, more like tropical plants. So like that was really nice. And again, the food was good. It came out fast, very reasonably priced. And it was quite tasty. It's like a husband and wife duo, and people in the kitchen, and they are fantastic. They were very nice to me last year. They were very nice to us again this year. Got a lot of tasty food. Went back to the hotel and
passed out.
I promptly fell asleep, and then got up for our first day of PAX.
PAX day 1, Thursday. Go.
First day of PAX ended up being we got funneled to the line. Because I made a wrong turn.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I like to do it like once a year. We got there like a half hour early.
We were there 40 minutes early.
Okay.
It matters.
It matters. So we stood in line like 40 minutes early. Then at the like 25-minute mark before it opens, like, here are beach balls. It's a Buffett concert. Go. So it was trying to.
And he's trying to tell me, oh, it's just like a concert. I'm like, no, because at a concert, I'm here to fucking see something. And right now, it's stand in line and entertain yourselves. Also, we're going to crush you in like sardines, getting close together.
I will say, PAX guys, if social distancing matters, please have it matter.
It doesn't matter
anymore.
If it
doesn't matter,
it doesn't matter anymore.
They don't have social distancing signs. They had social distancing.
Did they?
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
did.
even.
Yeah, they had social distancing things in certain places,
Oh.
and then you go to other places.
That might
and
have
it's
been like an artifact from the convention, though. Like of the convention center. That might not have been them. Regardless,
follow the signs.
I don't like being funneled, but that's like I understand why they do it.
Yeah.
Like, getting everybody inside, it's better than like standing out in the blistering cold. That is Boston. So like, you're bringing people in, you're funneling them, so they're not wandering and getting to shit that they shouldn't be. Like, I understand, and I hated it. I looked at him and I'm like, we had like 20 minutes left to still stand there. And I'm like, I'm not doing this tomorrow.
So we got in later, and then I made a right instead of the left, so we could go like sit up in the quiet areas. This PAX was a little bit different for me because typically
you've been to 3 now.
I've been to 3, and a lot of the times it's just go down and try to like get my hands on as many demos as possible. And for us guys, we do a lot more console streaming. We're looking into doing what we can to get more in the line of PC streaming in there, maybe within the next year or so. So that for a lot of games, like at PAX for indie games, it can really siphon us off because it's like, hey, are you coming to console? Okay, this is cool. We'll talk about it. But at the same time, it's like we probably won't play this for 3-4 years if we remember it with as many games that are coming out. So we actually did a lot of panels this year. We did, probably 4 to 5 panels in the long run of it all. I deleted my app, so I can't even be like, what panels
see which ones you saw. We did the fighting games community one.
Yep, the first one was the fighting game community, which was hosted by Casa. Let me look them up real quick.
We shouldn't have deleted the app. That was all of our notes.
That was a lot.
And then there was the visual novel.
We did a visual novel one, yep.
We did one about food.
We did do one about food.
We did one about grief in video games. It was a bunch of therapists.
It was a bunch of therapists. Yeah.
Like, and that was the first. So the first 2 I routed off, those were both like a Thursday. So it wasn't packed yet. But on Friday when we did the grief one, and we still got there maybe 10 minutes before the panel was supposed to start, and like the line was so long. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit in there or not. But it was full. We got seats. It was good. The food one was also super packed. But very enjoyable.
The food one was incredibly packed, and I thought that was actually really, really cool all the way around.
Yeah, and also like the panel members were really great. Like, people came prepared. They were engaging. They spoke well. I wanted to listen to them. I cared about their opinions. I'm not sure how much preparation goes on in advance. We're like, hey, here's our topic. Let me find people. Hey, you like this topic too? Do you want to sit on a panel with me? Here's what we're going to talk about. The questions I'll give a moderator, and then you kind of like bounce to your other like 3 people who are like on the panel with you. But like everyone had like really thoughtfully prepared insights and responses, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, especially so starting off like the one for the fighting game community. As a lot of us know, or many people who will listen to this know, like fighting games had to evolve, I think, more than any other gaming culture, and this was even said during the panel throughout all of COVID, because they talked about in the panel itself where, hey, you go to this fighting game tournament or this local
online doesn't matter. Offline's the only thing that matters. And you got to be in person, and now it's like, well, you can't. And
then all of a sudden, you can't be together. Like Evo that year, because you always hear me talk about Evo. I talk about it all throughout the entirety of 2020.
Yeah, it's not real. Sure,
whatever the pandemic happened at this point.
2022 to 2024 now.
Was it 2022?
2020.
2020. Okay. Yeah. The Evo was held online, and then people that were competing in it one day were like getting messages like, "Hey, your match is going. Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh shit, that's today," because it wasn't handled well, and they scrambled to put it all together, and they did what they could.
Yikes.
It was bad.
Learning curve.
But the next year went a lot easier. And so they talked a lot about that. Everyone was really insightful. It was a great group of people. And all of them are like friends talking about, hey, we play fighting games together. We, come from these scenes. So that one was fantastic. And I thought hey, this was one of my first panels at any con. I was like, oh wow, this is a.
And I found that one on a whim.
You did. That was a fantastic
We
find.
just happened to be like walking by the conference room, and there are like these giant signs for like, hey, like Thursday, Friday, here are all the topics and the start times and stuff. So I was like, oh, fighting game community, because you watch Wooly.
Yeah, I watch.
And Wooly does like the play more fighting games. So I was like, Chris would like that.
Get into fighting games, yes.
Yeah, play more fighting games. Potato. I said the same thing. Like, this is purely osmosis, and you're lucky I remembered that. You're lucky I remembered it was Wooly. Shout out to Wooly.
Shout out to Wooly, who's streaming right now. Yeah, so we got to do that, ask some questions. They were all really cool. Shout out to the PAX app as well for being really intuitive this year. I know you used it when we first went years ago.
That was so long ago, but yeah.
And I used it this year, and it was really, really good to go ahead and just see, hey, what are things doing?
And to navigate through the app was a lot more intuitive.
Oh, it was incredibly intuitive. You could navigate through the app, and then,
which is also free. If you're going to PAX, download the app. It makes life easier.
So use that. That was really good. Went back to, after we finished up that day, I think we left the convention center.
It was late.
Like 6 or 7?
Yeah, because the virtual novel it either started at 6 or 7. Like, it was dark.
Yeah, the other one we did was a virtual novel, because Mrs. Play getting into games of her own accord. Really liking RPGs. I'm looking for other big story-based things for her to be like, hey, here's something you can sit down and play.
Right. I didn't know what a virtual novel was until the panel moderator started speaking. I thought a virtual, was it called a virtual novel? It was
a visual novel.
Visual novel. I knew I was getting it wrong. It was a visual novel, which to me, my brain, I'm like, oh, it's a manga. It's a comic book. Like, it is. Like, sure, these are indie games, but now we're talking about books. And yes, but no. So I got to learn something.
Yeah. And that was produced by Kennedy. So she did a fantastic job as well.
Please use a different adjective.
She did a great job as well.
Fourth. Fantastic.
Okay. She did an amazing job as well, moderating that and giving you all of the different, hey, have you played this? Congratulations. Big one being Ace Attorney.
There's so many different genres and subgenres, and so many games that like can cross multiple genres. Basically, it's like, hey, you'll find something that interests you because there's such a diverse collection to go from. And even games that are like made in Japan have finally been translated into English, or things that are like in English. And like, look, you have all this stuff. It's more than just like dating things.
Yeah, it's not just dating sims.
Yeah. Check the ratings before you give these to your kids.
That was a fun one.
It was funny. That's why I remembered it. Yeah, she was very clearly like passionate and super knowledgeable on the subject, and was just like, let me gush to you about all these things. Bring more people in. It was very welcoming.
Yes. I would say with that one, with that, the other one that was packed, like you said, was the grief one that we talked about.
I wasn't expecting that one to be packed.
Yeah.
I'm like, talking about feelings, no thank you.
Feelings in video games, and more specifically loss.
Yeah, it was grief. It was loss.
And so with Final Fantasy VII coming back out, that was I'm pretty sure the big pull on that one is because you lose a main cast member, and they talk about it.
He's being vague because I've never seen it, played it. I know nothing.
Yes, you.
I know there's like 14, 15, 17 Final Fantasies, and then I know nothing else.
each one's different.
Nothing.
We might go through a Final Fantasy one day.
Okay. The spoiler alerts for Nicole.
Spoiler alerts. But you lose one of the characters, and so my favorite is they're going like, for a 20-year-old game, almost 20-year-old game, we're throwing out spoiler warnings getting re-released in the remake.
Yeah.
And so yes, we got to see a lot of, or hear a lot of different points of that of grief and loss, and it's not linear. If you lose somebody, it's not going to be okay. How was it? They talked about the stages of grief, where it's like anger, bartering. He goes, you can go from like happy to angry to sad to angry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's like the stages of grief, but like that shit is not linear. It is a squiggle.
It's okay if you make jokes. There are people who make jokes.
All the squares make a circle.
All these squares make a circle.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I'm tired.
I understand. I did really enjoy. I enjoyed how welcoming that was, especially when they started addressing. I'm quite known to make horribly out of taste jokes when I'm feeling sad and uncomfortable. So when the moderator for that one was like, "Hey, licensed clinician going for doctorate," was like, it's maybe read the room, but also no one can really fault you.
Dark humor's fine.
That is perfectly fine. So I felt validated and seen there, which was very nice. The other one that I was pleasantly surprised with, and I think you were pleasantly surprised with, was the Metroid retrospective.
Yes. Yeah, that one was good too. That one was engaging.
Which had a speedrunner.
Yeah, those guys were funny.
A speedrunner, a cosplay artist. A cosplayer, I think a traditional like LPer, and then somebody else who did
like forum moderation.
Yeah, like and for like Medium and different article writing, and listening to them talk about the history of Metroid and the boom of Metroid, the great Metroid drought TM.
The first great Metroid drought.
I love how he's like TM, and but all the other like the golden age of Metroid, not TM, and that was a lot of fun. I've gotten into Metroid more recently. So I was like, Mrs. Play, let's go hear about Metroid, and Mrs. Play's like, okay, I'm just here
for the lulz and promises of food.
Yeah, I know who Samus is. I know I know of a Metroid, and had a really good time. They were very engaging, like
super
you said.
duper, and even they were like showing clips in their PowerPoint of just like little 15-second sequences of the game, especially for like some of the speedrun portions were like, and then if you just go right here, and then like you're just like phasing through a wall, like you're at this whole new level, and they're like, it's not cheating, which I found very amusing, especially because like taking that, and then we went and watched the Game's Done Quick.
Yes, GDQ.
Which one did we? What?
So we went in
for Zelda, but we were there like an hour early. What did we see first?
So I think the first day
Resident
we saw
Evil.
Titanfall. We did Titanfall the first day. I left partway through it because we went to one of the.
I meant the back-to-back.
Oh, that was Resident Evil 1
and okay. I'm just like, I was like, I had his voice in my head being like, it's not cheating. But yeah, like I've never really, aside from like occasionally watching just a couple of clips, minutes here and there with you when you're watching GDQ, I haven't really watched it. But then again, just seeing them be like so fast, so efficient, and just so engaged with it, and we're like, yeah, this was done in 2.5 hours. I'm like, goddamn.
Congratulations, your childhood is beaten in 2 hours. Yeah. Which, shout out to GDQ for getting a massive presence at PAX East. Typically, when you go to PAX East, for those of you guys who have been in the convention center, and you'll now know where this is, they are typically on one of the two sides. So the entrance, the back, they're on one of the two sides. And they have like a little, where the dancing stage was?
Yeah.
That's typically the GDQ stage. And the dancing stage is on the other side, and then something's on that. And it's, there's taped off on the floor, and that's it. They had a sizable room. Like convention hall meeting room. I don't know what they're called.
No, for sure could probably hold about 100 people.
And when we were in there getting ready for the Zelda one right after the Resident Evil, it got
packed.
It was packed.
People were sitting on the floor in the back and along the sides.
It was really
packed
cool.
At PAX. Haha. Sorry.
No, that's
wah wah.
Wah, wah. But I was so happy because I like a friend of the channel, Mark Quiggles, really got me into speedrunning. I don't do it, but I love watching it. It's like League of Legends. I love watching it.
I can appreciate it.
And seeing them have so much representation, raising money there, and they had some like larger name people, so that was really cool to go in. And I sat through like 3 runs between Titanfall, Resident Evil 1, and Zelda. And then you got to see ceiling sharks, the most terrifying creatures known to man.
That was so strange. Like, we changed the seed, and then that way, any sort of enemy can spawn anywhere at any time. And I'm like, why is there a shark just flopping around on the fucking ceiling.
It was a randomizer run, which was fantastic.
But they were good.
Yes.
Like, obviously, because like they're the one, like, you're not going to put someone who's like mediocre up on stage for people to watch for like 2.5 hours. Like, you're gonna put someone who's good up there, and he's like trying to find all the pieces to the thing to get him out. I don't know what we were looking for, if I'm being honest. But he's
we'll find out this Halloween.
He's like, there are these 5, and I just need to go find the 6th one, and it can only be in like ABC location, and I've already checked these 2, therefore can't forget. Don't let me forget, guys. Go check C. And I'm like, damn, I'm not that proficient at like anything.
I do.
So I admired it.
I love watching speedrunners, and
like, I lose my phone all the time.
having like 3 friends also there, kind of roasting each other, and they all bounced off of each other.
They kept the banter up. Again, they were engaging. I know there are times where like I'm self-conscious of it when we're streaming, where I run out of things to say, or I'm just like, okay, well, I have to like listen to the story. But like, they've played this game so many fucking times that they don't need to hear the story. They know it's coming next. Yeah. And you're supposed to be doing it fast. So also putting the language in Mandarin.
Yes.
So that it goes through faster. I was just like, that's really smart.
That was Titanfall. That's one of the tricks to shave off. I think they said it shaves off about 30 seconds to 45 seconds.
Maybe over, yeah.
And that's
just like how much faster that language is spoken.
How quickly you can like get through a cutscene there. Yes, that was really, really cool.
Because I can't read a fucking thing because it was in
Mandarin.
Yeah, the written language and the spoken language, and they had the sound down low, but like you can still see the text. I'm like, I don't fucking know what's being said, and they're still clicking on things. I'm like, I bet that they don't know how, they can't read it, and they just know
they've memorized just where it is.
Down 2, hit enter, hit A, move on.
So
yeah, it was impressive.
I'm glad that you could enjoy that and you did sit through, because it is a dark room and it gets a little toasty in there.
I was about ready to fall asleep.
Yes.
Like, that's the first reason, like, in between Resident Evil and Zelda starting, I'm like, I need to go walk around. And so I wandered around on the main floor and just, like, watched the people. And I was like, okay, this was fun. And I came back and was engaged for a little bit more. And then I was like, okay, I am getting tired again.
And then Thursday, we also ended up going to Mecca Ramen Bar for lunch.
Which was like maybe a half mile from the convention center.
Yeah, half mile. I believe if you come out of the convention center
from the front entrance,
you're going east.
I don't know.
I think you're heading more towards the ocean, not the harbor. I think. Yeah, because the harbor ends behind where the convention center is. That cuts off at the end of the harbor, so you're heading east.
You're probably right. That's not how I think about it. For me, it would be like, you leave the front of the convention center, you go across the street, you make a left,
and then you make a right, and then
you go across the bridge, you walk down some steps, you make a left, you make a right.
Shout out to those steps, by the way. This is played last year when I went by myself. Those steps weren't there, so you had to do like a mile circuit if you didn't come up the direct route, which we took from the hotel to the con every night. And when we say it's cold up there, it is blisteringly cold.
Yeah. So with the wind chill, it was fucking miserable with the wind chill.
But we went there. We got some
cold. Friday. I'm sorry.
You're good. We got some tasty ramen. Tasty ramen was tasty.
The tasty ramen was tasty. Came out fast. It was like first come, first serve. And they're like, how's PAX? I'm like, we're having fun. We already bought a bunch of stuff. Shout out to the candle maker guy. Sorry, we can talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
But I got distracted. I was like, there are candles. We bought goodies.
We did buy a lot of goodies. You guys can't see this, but right here is the badges. We this year made the smart choice of doing 3-day badges because we always leave on Sunday. But we got a lot of swag. So as I told Mrs. Play, because I am now like the professional con goer, I guess, of the group.
The group? Who's in the group?
You, me, Nick, Tyler.
Okay, yes.
The only one that beats me out is Mark. Mark part-times it.
Well, that's why I was asking, like, who's included.
So, but out of the channel, I'm a professional con goer. So, for the most part, Thursday for PAX, while not as many people are set up, is your, hey, do you want merch? Hey, do you want to try and play as many games as possible? And hey, do you want to? If there's someplace close to the convention center,
that
that's
you're like
the day you
you're
go.
targeting for food. You go there on the slow day.
Because that very quickly could become a like 2-hour wait for food, and
easily.
If anyone knows Mrs. Play like I do, when food is not readily available and we need food, it's
I will devolve.
Feel bad for the other person on that receiving end.
Yeah.
But
me too. You had your 15-minute warning. You chose not to honor it. This is a you problem.
So Thursday, we also ended up buying a ton of stuff. We got from Many Worlds Tavern, picked up some coffee and some tea. I found them at
PAX Unplugged.
PAX East last year. Didn't buy it. Bought it PAX Unplugged. Fantastic. We're not sponsored by them, but it is like my go-to pour-over tea. I drink it todos los días.
Coffee?
Coffee.
Okay.
We got tea this time because you like tea.
I do like tea.
Mrs. Play found candles.
Yeah, so the tea was lovely. It was a white tea, very floral, very light. We enjoyed that last night, so very enjoyable. Super glad we picked it up. And then also from Dragon's Den Candles, we have like 4, 6 ounce. They're like soy wax candles, but they're all like.
Do you need ambiance for your D&D game?
Yes, thank you. It's like so. This one is Ancient Woods, but got another one that's like jousting, something about jousting, and that one smells like leather. And then you have like a smoke one.
I have Long Rest, which is it smells like charcoal. Like I was grilling today. It smells like you just sat outside, like burned a campfire.
Yeah. So.
And then the final one, I think, is the Druid or the Lavender Sacred Temple.
Yeah. It's more like an amber musky scent. So, yeah, that guy was swarmed every time I walked by, like all the candles. He had a wide variety, really nice.
We got the full edition of them, not their single serving. So we got there, and the guy was incredibly nice. Mr. Play, for someone who, 1, studied a language that he already knew very well, 2, studies multiple languages, and 3, loves literature, does this. Sometimes I can't speak, so the pucks that you can drop in the top of a candle heater, so you put like a tea candle in there, and it diffuses the scent for you. Yeah, that became single serving candles.
You referred to it as single serving, and like the owner, like to his credit, like didn't give you shit, but I was immediately just like,
like you're like leading.
Like, did you hear yourself? Do you realize what you said? Did that feel funny to you?
I also
sounded funny.
I also refer to like bars of soap as flavors of soap.
You're special. So special.
I'm very special.
So yeah, we bought many things from there. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Love the tea and coffee place.
Yes.
And
a lot of cat things.
Yeah.
Not different cats yet, but they're saying they're working on it. So hopefully,
we'll see.
Many Worlds Taverns, you guys do
an orange cat, a black and white cat, a nice wild type tabby cat, and a gray floof.
Got 4 cats for you guys, just lined up like that.
They're very cute. I'll send pictures. Inspo. What else did we get?
The other thing that we got is it's a 3D picture frame, and those guys are at like every convention. So they were at MagFest, they were at PAX Unplugged, PAX East.
And you sure it's the same vendors?
NecoCon, yeah. It's the Retro Vision or the Visiono art guys. So I got a really, really cool Cowboy Bebop like 3D of Spike standing by his single man flyer, and then the Bebop in the background and Faye's ship. And that one's really, really awesome, and I'm very happy for picking that up. I've seen it every time, and I've always really enjoyed it. And that was...
You grabbed the Gears of War surprise mystery box.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like Gears of War, and and similarly at every convention there's like a mystery box thing, and they do like, oh, do you like Fallout? Buy this Fallout box. What could be in it? you'll never know, and unless you buy it. A lot of people buy these scrap bags. So I got the Gears of War 5 one because I unabashedly actually like Gears of War 5 and the entire Gears franchise. It's okay. I wouldn't.
Didn't need to do it again.
I would not. I would not loot box again. That's what that felt like.
Yeah. You also bought books.
Also bought books. That was Saturday. Bought books for. It was
mental health.
Yeah, it was like mental health books. It was the psychology behind Pokemon, which was a hardback. Psychology behind Final Fantasy.
All signed by the author.
All signed by the author, and then one that is like the gaming guide to like therapy for the most part, where it is, hey, these are strategies that you can use from games to help you. It's a clinical study of using like game ideas in a. So that's gonna be like a long hard read textbook kind of deal, kind of like my pedagogy of like teaching books. So I was very surprised. I'm very glad I've picked up a couple. I've picked up already and started one or two of them.
Nice.
And have started enjoying that. And got a couple games. We got it's like Smug Owls.
Oh, my brain went to like digital games. I'm like, did we?
No.
Like card games.
Yes.
Games.
We got I Feel Attacked and
something
else. Do you want to entertain the folks real quick?
Entertain the folks.
Yeah. Do the juggling thing.
He's lying. I don't know how to juggle.
I was right. Smug Owls.
Smug Owls. And then there's a riddle one that we got too.
Smug Owls.
Is that one what it was? Okay, it's the riddle one. I like the riddle one. And then the I Feel Attacked. It's like a not safe for work, kind of like a Cards Against Humanity sort of situation. They do have a safe for work version, but that's not the one that made me giggle. So we got this one.
So Smug Owls is you create a riddle, and the game master, who couldn't come up with the riddle as fast as everyone else, has to choose which one of those answers to the riddle is the best. And
you make a riddle based on like these like fill in the blank situations.
So it's like what rises before it breaks, and it's like tension, a teenager's voice, a firework, a fever.
Yeah, so there's no right answer. Any answer could be the right answer, but the person who's being like the smug judgy owl chooses which one they found funny, and you can like allocate points based on that fashion. It amused me very much.
And then the I Feel Attacked is you try to like mesh up people who would be similar. So it's for these answers, it's like people who only tip the hot bartender, people who drive around in a midlife crisis, and then it's like people who had their sexual awakening to Sonic the Hedgehog. That's an actual card that I just read. Like I did not make that up in here. And so you have to find which one of these people overlap and like match it, almost like a really fucked up judgy version of Uno. Uno for judgy people.
Yeah, I can't wait to play that with Kat and Eli.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun one.
Target audience. Yeah.
And so Mrs. Play's been getting into that. We looked at Wormwood was there again. And so I guess from there, so that's...
Yeah, those guys are dressed very dapper.
Oh, they always come.
They showed out. They looked great.
For those of you guys who don't know, Wormwood is high-end gaming tables and desks, but like, hey,
but high-end. Like this ain't no IKEA shit.
Do you have a poker game that you do with your friends? We can cover that. Do you have a D&D thing you can do with your friends? We can cover that. Do you want it to be digital with an inlaid plasma, or not plasma, but like LCD touchscreen TV? Yeah, we can cover that for you too. Choose your felt. Like, do you want to be classy, real man cave with red felt? Got you. Love seeing those guys.
Yeah, very fancy attachments for like cup holders and stuff off to the side. Beautiful craftsmanship.
Yes.
Like they're not cutting any corners. Like it's quality.
All made right here in the United States.
Yeah, and like they're very knowledgeable. More than happy to share and answer questions and stuff. I really enjoyed engaging with those guys. I would like to buy something from them in like the next year or two.
Replace both of our desks.
Definitely yours. I like my desk.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
I have to replace mine. So they were absolutely they were great to talk to. Always are. The other big things, like the two biggest things at this convention. So now we'll start going into what we saw on the floor. So we've gone through like the swag, the stuff we've got. We'll talk more about the food because we had more tasty ramen, some soba, dim sum.
Focus. Talking about what we saw on the floor.
Saw on the floor. So the biggest ones this year were Larian Studios, who made
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Yep. You knew. I was like, you. And
I don't know.
No. I'm sorry. I was like, and Square Enix, who makes? That's.
I'm not gonna know that.
They
Baldur's
make
Gate.
They make Final Fantasy.
One.
You got the one.
The one that matters.
So, Square Enix was there for Final Fantasy for Dawn Trail. Sorry, that was on the free lanyard this year. Was
I was like, what are you looking
at? The Dawn Trail,
Mm-hmm.
For people who play the online and the version of Final Fantasy. Got to see Autumn Ivy. She was there doing her cosplay of
the red skin person.
Oh my god, yeah.
With the horns.
Yes.
Shame on you for not knowing.
I am. The day we left, she came back as Karlach. She did Karlach, but in like instead of woman in the red dress, it was Karlach in the black dress. So she was there because she's the official Karlach for Larian. This is right when also Larian announced that they will no longer be doing Baldur's Gate anymore or D&D. They are going to go make their own things from here on out and just make good games that people like.
Okay.
But Baldur's Gate 1 got announced for Game of the Year from the Game Developers Awards, GDC. So it's the actual people who make games, and that one was really, really good. Didn't really get too much time. I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy Online, so didn't go touch that, but did walk by, saw the massive lines for that, right next to the massive lines for merch and Baldur's Gate. So it was really cool to see that. The 3 games I put my hands on, I did Disco Samurai, which is a beat-based, rhythm-based
fighting game. Samurai.
I'm trying to think of like how to call the perspective because it's a very it's not third person, but it's like a canted perspective.
Top down kind of.
Kind of, yeah, just offset. And that was made by We Dig Games, which was a lot of fun. It's pixel art based, and you play a police officer samurai, and you beat up the baddies to the beat. And I, as someone who earlier today streamed some Hi-Fi Rush, I like beating some bad guys to the beat. The other game that I got to put my hands on was
the Castlevania game.
Yes.
It's like an arcade kind of situation.
Yes, made by Retroware, the Transylvania Adventure of Simon Quest, which is a massive pun for those of you guys who don't know it of Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. That one was a lot of fun. You got some footage of me blundering and playing around with that.
But also having fun.
Oh, it was. It's a super fun game, but it was. It plays as terribly as you want it to for the game that it's mimicking, with a lot of quality life and creature comfort things, like a slide tackle that kills enemies in one hit. So, fun things like that I really enjoyed seeing for that game. And then I think it was like Meat something was the other game that I was really interested in. I don't think I got to like put. I'm sorry, Iron Meat, which I didn't get to put hands on, but that was like a Doom Contra pew pew game that I also was looking forward to. And then you got to try a game. When we were not on the floor, I asked Mrs. Play because she's been playing RPGs a lot. Hey, would you humor me? We went to the free play console and we tried Baldur's Gate 3. And doesn't need to be like a super in-depth. You created a
main character.
Yes.
Yeah. Created a character. You like it's a giant room with different consoles, pre-downloaded things, do not connect to the internet, and you can like rent them for like this is the game I want, and they'll like go to station B13, and you can just like start playing the game. and you reserve time for like about an hour.
An hour at a time.
I'm not sure like how hard and forced that is. It probably like depends on like how big the demand is. But yeah, I built a character and went through like the opening sequence. It was definite learning curve. Because like I'm used to like my Xbox controller with like X, Y, A, B, and you're like press triangle. I'm like, where the fuck is that? So I'm just like, meh. But I really enjoyed all the details and the customization options that were available. Like I could have spent the entire hour just doing that.
There are streams of that.
I remember you saying as much, and I'm like, I could have fun with this. But so there were certain things where I'm like, yeah, the default's good. I want to get to the story. And just going through that opening entrance sequence and getting to control like multiple players and choose the turns and stuff. And I'm like, there's a lot more decisions that go into this than just being a solo act. So that was my first time interacting with like, oh, you like your character did this, and then your other character can also only go so far. But do you want them to attack you only if you're within like the sphere of influence? So like, that was all like new information for me. I'd never been directly exposed to something like that, and I enjoyed it. It would take some learning and getting used to, but I was like, I appreciate the graphics. I haven't played anything that new ever.
Yeah, that would be like the newest, prettiest game I think you've ever.
Yeah. Like it's very pretty. As you're like going through like the evil Nautilus, I'm like, that looks like a sphincter. I'm like, that's a butthole. That is a sphincter. And then we get closer, it's called the sphincter. I'm like, I fucking told you. It's gross. I'm like, why do we have to go after the evil Nautilus? Those guys look like goblins, but nice. And Chris is like, this is the first time they've ever been nice. And I'm like, this is cool. He's like, Chris like, this is a no nonsense character. You'll like her. And he's right, I did. And yeah, we got through like just through the opening sequence. We're like, okay, this was fun. I did enjoy it. I appreciated you being there because like there were times where I'm like, I don't know what button to push. How do I go back? But it was good. It was very good.
I think if we might dabble with it in the future, guys.
We're not making promises.
Yeah, it might just be
a long list of things to play. You got me into Kingdoms of Amalur, and I play that on my own now, and I'm maybe 8% done.
Yeah, your first quarter of the game's done.
Bless. It's huge.
So yes, Mrs. Play has been playing that, but it was, and then you got to see, because playing Kingdoms of Amalur, it'll give you the, hey, here's your percentage. Do you want to do this auto or not? For this game, you got to see what a skill check is, which was the game pulls up the dice and rolls it.
Oh yeah, I was completely I'm like, what is this? And then I'm supposed to be like good at
so Mrs.
discernment of magic.
Mrs. Play picked a wizard, and
I wouldn't do it again.
I'm not as up on my D&D lore.
Yeah.
To give her a fun spellcaster.
But like I'm supposed to be like good at like the discernment of the magics, and I rolled a 1. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this one thing is the class that you skipped when you were in school.
Yeah, obviously.
That like, one lesson you skipped. Can't fucking figure this out.
I thought I was supposed to be good at this. Rolled a 1. I didn't care for that at all.
Critical failure.
I just want to fuck this game.
And that's something, when we were at PAX Unplugged with Kat and Eli, they have a board game room of the same thing. And even here had that. PAX East had it like unplugged. But I was like, oh, let's go try, Baldur's Gate in an arena, especially on a night day where it's quieter, and it was just could sit down and play. It wasn't like channel stuff, or it was just Mrs. Play, give this a shot. What do you think?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you liked that, and you gave that one a fun shot. And then the final day, or I think it was Saturday, probably my personal favorite panel was there was one for cooking. So it was a few chefs, a game developer talking about like food in video games and just how important food is, and
what it represents, and then actually being able to like cook, and like the level of sophistication, and like before it's like, mix these things, look, a meal, and like you don't really like see someone chopping. And now there are games that are entirely dedicated to like operating a bakery, or cooking meals for friends, kind of things, and just like the sophistication of those meals and the animation that goes into it and the storytelling involved was super interesting. And again, like the panel members were so thoughtful, and how food as a means of like conveying the storytelling, again, very thoughtful. Like you get a sense of time and place with the food.
And then that got us on like a binging with Babish kick that night. So we'll watch. I used to watch a lot more when Philip DeFranco would have like this week's binging with Babish, and then you found him because of the chef show.
Yeah.
And so like watching binging with Babish do their take on Naruto's ramen, on the Monster Hunter chef special, because I super love me some Monster Hunter. So we sat in the hotel room like after that, and that was like our final night for unwinding. And also it was cool. I super wish we had the chance to get it, but if you were one of the first 50 people in line, you got the Ultimate Gamers Cookbook, which gave you not only like, hey, here's some recipes to make whatever from this game, but it was also like, hey, here's an idea for how to do like a night. So
like thoughtful themed gatherings with your friends.
Yes. So it was like, hey, everyone likes Stardew Valley. In Stardew Valley, you can find simple ingredients. Everyone pick your favorite dish in Stardew Valley, and you bring that over and make it.
Like have a potluck with your friends.
Yes.
Kind of situation, which is like, I love thoughtful gathering. Like to host is a skill. To do it well is a skill. And so the fact that like, hey everyone, we're doing like again Stardew Valley themed dinner this Saturday. Everyone bring your favorite dish. Like everyone immediately like they have something to look forward to. They know what to expect. They get a sense of like these are the rules of decorum. This is how the flow is going to go. Like you already get that sense, and just like giving people information to align expectations is such a rare gift. I've been to some really shitty gatherings, and so people who can do it well, and so like this cookbook could just like be used to facilitate that. And so I was just like, oh, that's so thoughtful. I love him.
And that was that one was my favorite.
That one was your favorite?
Yes. I think because of the end where it was like, hey, here's this fun idea to, especially if you're trying to meld like.
Mr. Play's like, I love friends.
I do love my friends.
I love my friends.
But when we're like trying to meld like 3 or 4 like different friends groups.
Yeah, friend groups. Yeah.
So like here it's like on the channel, like yeah, we're all friends, but like 2 of us really like Star Wars, 1 of us does not. And just trying to like bring everyone together under something common, which is I loved that aspect of it. So it was just a lot of really fun ideas.
Yeah,
and
we'll have to pick that up.
It is called the I can do that right now.
Say less at Amazon.
Yeah, I was literally like Googling that to go ahead and get that one
Make
done.
that purchase.
Yeah, already done.
Okay.
It's called the Ultimate Gamers Cookbook. So it is. I really liked everything with that. I think the most, but very positive experience. Very different for not me on the floor like interviewing and what it was last year, which was still a great experience, but just to go
a bit more casual this time around.
Yeah, casual. Got to see some cool people. Final day, I got to see someone who was cosplaying in the Palico armor for Monster Hunter, and that was really cool. Like,
you nerded out so hard. You got so excited.
There were a couple like Warhammer people there and different, but lots of
League of Legends and stuff. Like most of the cosplayers, I didn't recognize.
That's right. We were walking around. We found like the League of Legends meetup. So like I taught Mrs. Play the sandbag joke of, hey, Mrs. Play, who is the character from Halo?
John 117.
Yes. But if we were a sandbag, that's John Halo Man, or that is
Jack.
Yeah, Jack Titanfall.
Hey.
Jack Titanfall. So got to teach her those fun things when we were just walking around. I'm like, oh hey, we found the League. We found the League of Legends.
League of Legends. But everyone does like such cool cosplays. I really enjoy going just for like the people watching element.
And that is definitely like Saturday.
Yeah. It was super packed, but just like all of the people doing all of the things, several like Demon Slayer characters, which I appreciated. But just like it's a skill, there's time, there's craftsmanship, there's love and dedication that is poured into these cosplays, and I'm just like, you go rock it, man. Like, do you? You look great. You're killing it over there.
And then the person who walks around with your cosplay looks great, and so do you.
Yeah.
Or you look great, so does your cosplay.
Yeah, I feel like that's right. But yeah, like, I didn't know who most of the characters were, but I'm like, you're doing such a good job.
You
Go
did.
you.
Did you have a favorite part of PAX?
I really enjoyed the cosplays.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all the food that we ate. And I think my favorite one would probably be the fighting game one. Those guys were so engaging. And like I would go like find them on other like I'm not gonna go get into fighting games, you guys. I'm not. But like I would listen to them talk about it more.
You heard this first here. Mrs. Play entering Street Fighter at EVO this year for the modern controls.
Not doing those things. Will not be doing those things. But to hear him talk about it so passionately and with such firsthand experience, and like, hey, I've been doing this for years, and now I'm in more of like a mentorship role. Like, so you're developing, like the next generation of like
talent.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say fighter game guys. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. But again, they spoke so competently and were so engaging that I was like, I want to listen to you. I'm like, of course I'm gonna love like the food thing, but like what surprised me the most was like the fighting game panel. I really enjoyed it.
And I guess because we're coming up on our hour mark, so we're not being too much talking about food. I took you to a dim sum place.
You did. It was delicious. We ate chicken feet.
My second time.
His second time, my first time. It was delicious. It looks exactly like what it is. And I was having a hard time like mentally getting past that.
The person that can eat duck tongue in this group could not eat chicken feet.
Yes. Yeah. Like it looked like chicken feet because it was. And I'm like, that was hard. Like it was like it wasn't like I'm going to gag on this. It didn't smell bad. It tasted great. It smelled like food. Tasted like food. Really good food. But just it looked like what it was, and I was having a hard time with that. But we also like that was like the most like fringe thing that we had. The rest of our dumplings were like quite ordinary and equally delicious. Everything was like fast. The servers were super on point. We were like the last open table to arrive, and after that they were getting slammed.
It was the rush, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting slammed in groups of 6. So they were in the weeds, but they were doing their damnedest. And hats off to them. I could not be in the service industry, especially for something that was supposed to like turn out so fast. Get your order, get your food, eat, all done in like probably 45 minutes, depending on the size of your group and how much you're ordering.
Mm-hmm.
But they did a really great job. And then, we also, for breakfast every day, where did you take me?
Tate.
Tatte. It's this like lunch breakfast pastry place. The pastries look like art. The latte also looks like art. Like, guys, I was so fucking happy.
We got to try the jelly tarts from Dragon Prince.
Yeah. Like, just seeing they have a name that starts with an H. It's German. Can't pronounce it. But I was like, look, it's the jelly tarts from Dragon Prince. Like, there's still times where like we'll see food in a video game or an anime, and I'm just thinking like, oh, somebody made this up. It's not real. And then we get to see it in real life, and I'm like, holy shit, based off a real thing. And it blows my mind every time, and it absolutely tickles me. And I'm like, I get to try the thing that I saw this character do. And I'm like, now I'm turning into my husband.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it's like the jelly tart, a variety of very tasty pastries and sandwiches. Everything came out fast. Just getting to like sit and take our time and have a really lovely breakfast. It was barely 2 blocks away from our hotel before we just like headed over to the convention center. Thoroughly enjoyed that every day. They were open until like 8, so like if we need dessert, we could come back. They had not just like breakfast pastries, but like here's like a dessert, like mousse fruit tart chocolate situation. Like it was beautiful. Like I almost felt bad eating it, but I was hungry and it smelled good, so I did. But like I almost felt bad because of how pretty it was. We talked about the Thai vegan place.
Mm-hmm. We also did the soba place.
We did do the soba place. I ordered udon because I love me an udon noodle, but that was for lunch one day as well.
I got soba. It was delicious.
I felt like I was in Japan again.
That one and taro ramen, which was ramen we did our last night there.
Yeah,
pouring down rain.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's like you need like a big bowl of something warm when it poured down rain the entire day. Is a cash only establishment, so come prepared.
That's how you know it's a good ramen place. You don't want to take cash.
Very, very small, like could maybe hold 16 people.
Yeah, like you guys can't see how long that is. That's maybe 3.5 feet.
What is
the shelf? The mantle.
The mantle's like 6 feet. What? You're on drugs.
Okay, well it's probably no bigger than that wall.
Okay,
so that's 6 foot.
You're on drugs.
It's literally not much bigger than this set.
Oh, our set's bigger than this. Their entire
the set that they can see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not that set.
Yeah, I was like, yes. Yeah, it's a very intimate, like, eat your food and get out, but the food came out fast. It was so fucking good. Like, it was as good as the ramen that I had in Kyoto. It was like the porkiest pork, fucking amazingness.
I did the spicy ramen. I never do like the spicy miso anything because it's always where we are. It's always like just a crap ton of sriracha.
Yeah.
No, it was a really
Real
good
flavor,
spicy.
Yeah, like there was like a sign. Like we sat at like their like bar section, but just there was a sign saying like, "Hey, it takes like 2 days to prepare our broth. This is where our pork comes from, and this is why we are of quality." Again, the food came out fast. It was so fucking good. We got the karage, which is like sliced up fried balls of chicken thighs.
Yeah, it's like it's hey, you're gonna go out drinking tonight? Have
you
this.
Want this?
Are you drinking tonight? Have this. Are you trying to recover from drinking tonight? Have this.
Yeah,
it's that kind of meal.
Yeah, it was fucking good, man. I absolutely loved it. Like I was so looking forward to that meal. Go early. Like if you wait until like 6:45, you're
too late.
Yeah, you're gonna be waiting for a while. And it was pouring down rain, so it's not like there's also like much room for you to like wait inside or anything. But yeah, like fucking worth the wait though. If you do end up having to wait, it was so good. I'm so glad we went. It was once again within a 6-minute walk from our hotel, very close. Loved it. Would stay there again. Would go back there again. Loved all the food in Chinatown. The soba place, I don't feel like we're hyping up enough. It was it was in a basement.
Yes.
But if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. It was so cozy and warm and quiet, and they had like all these like banners, like festival banners and stuff.
Oh, the umbrellas, the parasols.
And umbrellas and stuff on the ceiling. So just like bright and colorful, but the rest of the walls and the tables and stuff were just very like serene, natural wood tones. Our waitress was so fucking cute and sweet, and just like the epitome of like she sensed you might need something, and she appears, and then she disappears. I'm like, I love you. You probably have a full-time job and a life, but like, I love you. Can you come stay with us for always? She was so sweet. The food was like these giant bowls of tastiness. You had, what did you have?
I had the
duck.
The duck soba.
The duck, and then I had like a kimchi udon. And like, it gets so good.
Yeah. My kimchi soup never turns out that good. It was real good.
Gotta keep practicing.
Good deal.
But yeah, like service is fast, and like it's expensive because it's Boston. Like almost every meal,
$50 or so.
Yeah, if you have like an appetizer, 2 entrees, like no alcohol, plus tip, you're probably gonna drop like $60 every meal, with the exception of breakfast. But shit's not cheap. But the food was so fucking good. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and then 12-hour train ride home we don't need to go into. And next year,
we'll fly.
I will be going. I don't know if Mrs. Blair or someone else will be going with me, but we will be going. And yeah, we will fly there. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out the YouTube channel. Podcast will be live for our YouTube listeners starting tomorrow at about 10:30, as well as on all of your podcast platforms of choice. Remember, you're all winners out there. Take care of your friends here and elsewhere. Keep it weird, and have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.